Welcome back to your favorite Sacramento sports show.
Beam City Sports.
Yes, sir. We are back live on the radio, 96.5 FM. A special day today. It's our 50th show ever. That includes being on the radio and being at our little bar studio as well. It's very happy to be here for our 50th show. A big milestone for us.
Definitely uplifting for what's been going on here in Sacramento.
Oh, for sure.
No, it's a big number for us, so I'm happy about it. Shout out 50. I'm very happy to be doing it here in the studio too, where it all began.
Yes, sir. 50th show. Dev, how you feeling?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. Ready to make this a fun, special episode, even though we kind of got to talk about some sucky basketball. But other than that, I'm excited to get into it. Baseball tomorrow, the rest of the March Madness, everything else. And then another big game tomorrow that hopefully we could see a dub. So
Yes, sir. Also next week, we're going to be going live on YouTube. So tune into that. We'll make a lot of posts promoting that. Get some comments in there, some live reactions from the viewers. So that should be really fun and make the show a lot, more interactive with everyone who's watching. So should be a fun start next week to something new.
yeah, pull up.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for that. I want everybody to interact with us and get insight from the community in Sacramento.
Yeah, definitely need some takes from our viewers on what they think is going on here in Sac. Also, got to give a shout out to Players Sports Bar out in Fair Oaks. They want us to do a live show there. So coming up soon, you're going to see Beam City Sports live at Players. So should be fun.
We some players, man.
Yes,
some
sir.
Players.
And that'll be live during a Kings game coming up. So we'll get more information on that soon. But yeah, shout out to Players.
Just keep your eyes out.
Yeah. Well, today we're going to be going over the Kings. 4 losses in a row. Not too fun to talk about, but, we got to go over it. Got to say what's going wrong and what, we think should change. We're still 9th in the Western Conference, our record being 35-37, 2 games under 500. But, we're still 9th. There's some teams around us that have also been playing good basketball. So some stressful times coming up in these next couple weeks. But, we will also be going over the upcoming games for the Kings. Luke's Lock of the Week, ICU, around the NBA. And like these guys said, March Madness and some MLB baseball opening day preview for tomorrow. The A's and the Giants both play tomorrow, so should be fun. So excited to get the A's in Sac next week to play the Cubs for the home opener. That will be a crazy experience.
Yep. No, it's a national holiday tomorrow.
Yeah.
So take your day off of work, but unfortunately.
Keep your kids home from school. Don't make them go to school.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm very excited for tomorrow. It's a big day in sports.
Very excited. Sports is, like you guys said, is at an all-time high. Mm-hmm. I know NBA basketball is kind of getting into a weird flow of things, but we got March Madness, the most exciting time of the year, and then baseball starting up. So can't get much better than that. But, the Thunder last night came into Sacramento and dominated against our Sacramento Kings. We did not have Malik Monk, once again, out with an illness, but I don't think that's a valid excuse for how we played last night.
Nah.
Came out the gates not looking like a team that was ready to win. The Thunder were just better than us at every aspect of the game. You could go down the line.
Yeah.
In every aspect of the game, the Thunder were just flat out better in that first half.
Yeah.
We came out in that third quarter, made a little run. Shout out to Keegan. Had 19 points in the second half of his 28. That's a season high for Keegan, but, no one else really stepped up. There's no one else on this team. Maybe Jake LaRavia. But besides those 2 guys, I'm not really happy with anyone's performance last night.
No, yeah, it was not pretty. Especially that first half, like you said, was not looking good at all. Keegan was the only one playing with his heart. Like everybody else, I didn't really see a whole lot of passion on the court. And unfortunately, I feel like Malik is the one who brings it out of everybody. And having him gone, there's not a whole lot of energy that's going around.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Definitely saw that last night. Beginning of the game, nobody was flowing, nobody was connecting with each other.
Yeah, there was no flow on the offensive end. Dev, initial thoughts from that Thunder loss. It was 122-105 was the final score.
I mean, like you said, Keegan's really the only one out there playing with high. I mean, it's kind of 3 guys to me right now that kind of look like they want to, be out there and are trying to win. Keegan, Jake, and Keon. I know Keon missed a couple big threes late in the fourth quarter there that could have, kept him in within 10, but it's kind of just those 3 guys giving all-out effort, and then, kind of just some laziness here and there from other guys, and just not doing your job, and a lot more of leaving guys open for 3 than we've seen since they've been on this 4-game losing streak. And it's all about effort, and that's what it's about. And we're not seeing much of it from a lot of these guys.
Yeah, defense starts with effort. You know, you can have a long wingspan, you can be fast, you can, have quick feet and all that stuff on defense, but the real main part of defense is just straight out effort. And that we didn't see any last night, especially in the first half and that fourth quarter from our Kings. We ended the half down 22 points. Just a horrible look in the first half. Then we came out in that third quarter ready to play. Keegan hit some big threes. He had so many points in that third quarter. Keon hit a couple big shots in that third quarter. Laravia had 3 steals, and most of those were coming in the third quarter as well. So, that was really what got us going, was getting out in transition, getting some guys open looks. Keegan just catching that thing and shooting it every time. Yep. He had 9 threes last night and shot 9 for 13. So it's a great percentage from Keegan. His 3 percentage has been down all year. They were talking about it last night on the TNT broadcast. We got a break from the Kings broadcasters last night listening to the TNT. It's definitely a lot different. There was no bias towards the Kings. It felt like they were hating on us a lot. They made good announcers, but still, there was just a lot more hate towards the Kings than I've heard in a while, watching a Kings game. So it was a new look. But yeah, they were saying Keegan in his first year shot 40% from 3 last year. Sophomore slump shot 34%. And then this year, it's around 32. So the 3-point percentage is just going down. But hopefully last night can, uplift that percentage just a little bit.
Yeah, no, it was, I like to see no assists from Keegan because that means he's shooting all the time.
Yeah.
And we only need him to shoot. Everybody else can give him the ball, get their assists up. But yeah, with Keegan, I don't know. It's his emotion just needs to get a little bit more involved. Yeah. I know he's that kind of player, but his emotion, he needs to keep that up, and his confidence will grow with it too.
Yeah.
I know his confidence is going to keep going up with 28 points right here, 9 threes. And then that's the second person in Kings history to ever do that, multiple games with that many threes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Second person ever.
Guess who the other person is?
Peja.
Buddy.
Oh, shout out to Buddy. Shout out to Buddy.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I wouldn't mind seeing those shots keep increasing to end the year, especially, if hopefully they don't, but they do fall out of that play-in spot, that last one, then, I mean, I'd rather see that than some of these, walk up, give DeMar the ball every time. I think there's just too much of that right now. And I think I texted you guys, mid-fourth quarter or mid-third quarter last night when I finally started watching the third quarter. Shout out my dog. Had to take her to the bathroom. But I started watching, and my mom and sister are telling me Keegan's hit all these threes, and then they come down, and it's just walk the ball up and give it to DeMar. And I'm like, well, why are we doing this and not feeding the hot hand? And, honestly, he should have ended up with a lot more than 9 than 13 attempts from 3. I mean, I wouldn't have been mad if he shot more. So
yeah.
And like you said, his effort on defense is just at an all-time high. Those swats, like a couple from chase downs too, like that's just what I love to see. And it was kind of those 3 players that we're talking about that gets the crowd up, and they got the crowd really into it. And then a lot more laziness in the fourth quarter, missed shots.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of upsetting to watch for sure.
We're also really lucky that the refs let it be as physical as a game as it was, because usually Thunder are getting calls left and right. And Shea was going down there getting contact, and refs were letting the game go on.
In the third quarter, he wasn't getting calls.
No, yeah.
I feel like the other quarters he was.
The first quarter, he had like 5 free throws.
Yeah. He was 9 of 10 from the line overall, so he still got his 10 free throws.
He got his 10 free throws.
Yeah.
I thought they did a good job on him for the most part, but I do agree, that's kind of, if they weren't letting him play as much, I think he would have took a lot more free throws last night for sure.
For sure. That's kind of a common theme, though, Dev. It made me think of it when you brought that up, was that when Keegan had it going in that third quarter, and then the fourth quarter comes out, and we don't even look for him. It's just get DeMar the ball, slow it down every time, get Zach the ball, take a dumb step back 3. But, yeah, there was just a lot of no flow in the offense. We're a horrible half-court team. And that's not a good theme for the playoffs or any winning in this league anymore. You need to be good in the half court, and we don't have anyone to run the show in the half court. And we're only good out in transition. When Laravia's getting those steals, when Keon's getting some steals, that's when we're good. That's when we made that comeback.
Yeah,
so
even the TNT broadcasters who probably haven't watched a lick of Kings basketball all season, they're like, well, they gotta get out in transition and start scoring in transition because that's when they're at their best. And I'm like, if even they know that and realize that, watching this first game probably they've watched of the Kings all year, that's just what's got to happen.
Yeah. And they also brought up how bad we are. We don't run the pick and roll. And you would think having 2 big men like Domas and Jonas, Last night was a tough matchup going against those bigs in OKC with Chet playing the 4 most of the night and then Hartenstein just dominating, on defense. Domas had a horrible night. But, the TNT broadcasters brought it up that we don't run the pick and roll. And that maybe that's because we don't have Malik in the game. He's out with illness. But we have Keon handling the ball way too much for my liking. I love Keon. Him and Steph are my 2 favorite players in the league. But he is not good handling the ball, and he is not comfortable in the pick and roll. I love his game as a catch-and-shoot guy and obviously on defense, but, just because he's that smaller player doesn't mean he has to handle the ball as much as he is. And I can tell he's very uncomfortable with the pressure that anyone's giving him on defense, and it just messes the whole flow up on offense, There's no movement off the ball. It's just Keon telling DeMar, hey, he's like being pressured, and Keon's like, hey, DeMar, come get the ball. Yeah. And then it's an ISO. And then it turns into nothing positive on offense ever. DeMar only had 1 free throw last night, so it was physical, and DeMar was not getting the calls once again. And he only had 10 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. So tough night for DeMar.
12 free throws for us, 10 for Shea.
That's a crazy stat.
Yeah.
Another crazy stat on Shea that they said last night. Shea would be second in the league in scoring if they only counted his play through 3 quarters this year. He's first in the league counting his scoring through, all 4 quarters. He would be second in the league still if they just counted his third quarter.
All his fourths.
Yeah, and he had 32 points at the end of the third. So it was like, he's so good, man.
Yeah.
He's the MVP. Showed it last night. And the Thunder are just, they're so good. I thought we had a chance to, beat the Thunder when we were predicting these games, but not even close.
No,
it was an ugly one.
And I do want to say something, getting kind of real here. With the Kings, we're a 9th seed team. We are a bottom playoff team. And we go into these games against the Celtics and the Thunder and the Cavs, and we're just like, oh, we can do this. We could do this. And then we get so disappointed when we struggle like this. It's like, all right, guys, they're the number 1 team in the league. So we did put up a good fight, and we should have been better than this. We're not looking pretty right now. We have players to be a good team.
Yeah.
But it's just with the way the season's going, it's just we can't get too down right now.
I think we are kind of a little real with our predictions and stuff like that, but it's just even more disappointing because they have, I think, shown that they can, play up to that level.
Yeah,
that's what I was
Boston.
saying.
Even the first quarter of that Boston game the other night, that was a great first quarter. I thought we were winning the game.
Yeah,
I thought we were winning the game.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Same.
And then it just falls off after that. So. That's I agree, and I think we should definitely temper even more to end the season, the rest of the season. But yeah, it makes it more disappointing that they've shown they can do it, and it's just very inconsistent right now.
I was just going to say the consistency does not show up.
Never.
No consistency.
We've always been bad at defense. We looked it up before the show. The Kings have not had a top 10 defense in the NBA in over 20 years. They haven't had a top 10 defense in the league in 20 years. And then when they got Doug Christie, a bunch of articles came out. They have a top 10 defense right now. They could do it. They're 10-2 with Doug Christie. We started 10-2 with Doug Christie. And now, since the De'Aaron Fox trade, we are 11-13. So that's with Zach LaVine on the team. We are 11-13, 2 games under 500. And that's exactly what our record shows. 35-37, 2 games under 500. That's just, that's the label of this year is just 500 basketball. It's one night we're really good. The next night we're absolutely horrible.
Well, I think they put it up again last night too, and it was 24-12 versus under 500, and then now it's 11-25 versus over 500. So it's just playing down to. I mean, we play better obviously versus worse teams, but it's just when the consistency isn't there, like we're talking about, they can play good against good teams, but they just don't do it all the time.
Yeah.
And we had 23 threes against the Thunder last night.
Yeah.
Dude, 13 in the third quarter, was it? They hit 5 to start the game in the first 2 quarters.
It was just too little too late. And then we also had, I think, 5 turnovers in, the first, almost the first quarter, I think. 5 or 6 turnovers.
Yeah, horrible turning the ball over. But, hey, the Thunder do have one of the best defenses in the league. Yeah. So, that's going to happen. They have Lou Dort out there harassing anyone. Alex Caruso had a huge night. Only played limited minutes, and he had 15 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists. And he was making things happen out there.
And, that was all late in the game, too.
Yeah.
Closing us out.
Yeah.
He shut us down. Yeah. That was not a good sight, right? That bald man pissed me off.
My mom doesn't like him. She was calling him a bully the whole time. He was in the last part of the game.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't like him.
He's so good,
Me
though.
either
really
right now.
He's really good.
He's so good. But Zach LaVine last night, 19 points, 7 assists. So if you look at that, hey, Zach didn't have that bad of a night. He shot 7 of 16 from the field, so that's about 40%. Not that bad if you look at just the stats. Then you look at the plus minus. Minus 31 in the box score. By far the worst on the team. So that means when Zach's on the floor, every time Zach's on the floor, the Thunder are going on a run.
Well, you know what meme I saw last night? It was Zach LaVine hits a 3, and then it was the Chris Paul hits a 3 to cut it to 37 points.
Don't put us in that category. That's so sad.
Yeah, no, it's a little tough.
Yeah, well, minus 31 in the box score shows a lot. And, I know it's not all on Zach when he's in the game, but when he's handling the ball, I'm just not comfortable. Nothing positive. No open shots are going to come from that unless he hits a miracle step back 3. It's like no other flow is going to happen on offense, and we don't run the pick and roll as much as we should. Without Malik, Domas had a horrible night. 3 of 12 from the field for Domas. That's not something you see a lot. Domas is usually, some games he goes perfect from the field, where he's just getting layup after layup after layup. And I don't know if it's because, those guys on OKC, Hartenstein and Chet were just, dominating down low. But Domas, he needs to pick his spots better.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he was more aggressive than, sometimes we see him last night. But like you said, I think a lot of it had to do with the defense. Maybe a couple times I was like, that should probably be a foul, and it's not. But most of the time they were just, they got 2 bigs down there. It's going to be hard for him to, do his work down there. But back to the Zach thing, like I just think he's kind of the same as DeMar, but from 3. You know what I mean? And it's just a lot of like ISO that just messes up the flow of the offense, and they kind of need to take the ball out of his hands, in my opinion, and just make him be like more of a spot up shooter type, or just get the ball and drive. When he's getting the ball and driving, when he's not like begging for the foul, he's really good. So I would like to see more of that. And then more catch and shoot instead of and less ISO.
That's how we went on that run in that third. Zach hit a couple catch and shoot threes too. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's there's a lot of similarities with everybody's identity on the court.
Yeah.
Like DeMar, Malik, Zach, they're all very similar players.
That's true.
Like dribbling up the court, and they all want to handle the ball, which sucks. They all feel like they could take it under their. And it's
and none of them are a true point guard.
And none of them are true point guards.
None of them are true point guards.
So two of them need to make a sacrifice and be like, all right, we're not that player for the team.
Yeah.
Like, we're not that guy.
I mean, it's hard to make someone change their game, though.
It is.
It's like Malik has never really had to be a true point guard in the NBA. He's always been, come off the bench and get his. Zach LaVine's always been a guy to, hey, try and get 30 every night. Same with DeMar. And now we're putting all of the playmaking responsibilities on those 3 guys, and it doesn't work out.
No. I mean, and a lot of it, we got to think about Doug Christie, what is he saying? What is he like? Who's gonna lead the team? Who's dribbling the ball down the court? It's not the consistency. That's where it comes back to consistency. It's like nobody's getting any real role in finding their own shot.
Yeah, I mean, why as Doug Christie? Why don't you go back and watch that Cavs game and say, hey, this is our recipe to win. This is our recipe to beat the best team by the record in the NBA.
Yeah.
So why don't we play like this every night? Why don't we do exactly what we did in that Cavs game? I know it's easier said than done, but, the same game plan should be each night, and it seems like it's just not that.
I do want to say so it was the Cavs game and then the Bulls game right after that. I do remember in the third quarter, Chrissy brought out that lineup that we had when we went on the run against the Cavs.
Yeah.
And it did not work at all.
Yeah.
We tried to go small ball. We had Vucevic in there. Jonas wasn't in there doing anything. It just wasn't a pretty sight.
Yeah.
So, I mean, with certain teams, it does work. I don't know. Doug Christie, I'm starting to question some things that Doug Christie is pulling right now, too.
Yeah. I mean, I love Doug. At first, it was the honeymoon phase. We were so hyped that he was the head coach and we were winning games. But I'm a little worried for what's going to happen after this season if he's going to continue to be the head coach because I mean, there's not really much that he's done that's like a questionable move. Like, he's played key on the minutes that we were begging him to play. It's like he's playing the guys that we know should be playing. It's just the recipe to win is just not there. It's just not there.
Not there.
But also last night, Jonas Valanciunas, man, 2 points in 8 minutes and minus 15 in the box score in only 8 minutes of play. 0 of 4 from the field and 2 turnovers. One of those was an illegal screen. At least one a game for Jonas. Like, set your feet, man. I know you're 300 pounds and people are going to be, flying off you, but but set your feet. He's
I
always
do
moving his
remember
feet.
This one was a little like I was like,
I
but-
know.
I think it was
but
an
he
illegal
did-
screen, though.
But
I
mean,
know.
he did like move with him.
Yeah,
But,
that's
like,
what it is.
I kind of just like looked like he got hit and then moved, but I don't know. It was a little. The one where he came in first game against the Celtics and did it first thing, I was like, yeah, you just literally ran him
Yeah.
over. And then both the bigs really just got clamped last night. Like it
Yeah.
was.
And
And that's like the paint. The announcers were saying this too. Like when ball touches paint and they were touching paint in the third quarter and spraying out, they were hitting. But then when you're, two bigs that are gonna be in the paint are getting clamped, like a lot of stuff's gonna go wrong, like it did last night.
Man, it was a tough night for our bigs for sure. But the Thunder are just really good, man. Caruso killed us, like I said. Shea, 32 points. Isaiah Joe was a huge part of their win last night.
Dude,
It
they
felt
were-
like
They
every
hit
time he
every
touched the
three,
ball,
bro. They hit
every time
every
he
three.
touched the ball, he was hitting a three. Keon was playing great defense on him too, a couple of those, and he was just knocking it down. He is one of the best shooters in the league, so watch out for Isaiah Joe come playoff time. He's going to make a big impact.
Oh, yeah.
But Chet, 18 points, 10 rebounds. He's so good, man. He moves like a guard out there, and he's 7 foot. He's going to be one of the best players in the league coming up.
If we have to play this team in playoffs, I don't know if we're going to get a win.
Last week I was saying I think we can get a game against the Thunder.
I don't think.
I don't think we can get a game against the Thunder.
4 tries, I think they could get one. But one try, nah.
Sounds really confident.
One
right
game
there, yeah.
elimination, we're cooked.
Yeah.
That's just what this regular season's proven. If it was really March Madness like we were doing the other day,
Yeah.
we'd be cooked.
Yeah, but it's scary because they also didn't have 3 of their best players.
Yeah.
3 of their best players. They didn't
I
have.
know.
They didn't have their second best player in J-Dub, Jalen Williams.
We're cooked.
They didn't have Kaysen Wallace, who's arguably their best perimeter defender. Him and Lou Dort. And then they also didn't have Aaron Wiggins, who Aaron Wiggins dropped 40
He
points
killed
on
us
us.
last time.
He had dropped 40 on us off the bench earlier in the year. So they just have all these guys. And last night, it seemed like they still had the deepest bench in the league without
Dude.
3 of their best players.
They kept cutting
It's
the
unfair.
camera to J-Dub, and I was like, he's not even playing.
He's not even playing.
Bro, come on.
He was an all-star, and he's not even playing, and we're down 20 in the first quarter. So it was an ugly sight last night. But yeah, the game before, Celtics lost. I know our guy Milo was in the building.
Shout out Milo.
Prayers up for Jason Tatum, though. Got to start there.
He was walking on it.
He was walking.
So
But
I think it was more just, they
It's
were
an
up
ankle
20
sprain.
at the point.
yeah.
Yeah.
and then like I was saying with Domas's ankle sprain, it's just like it looks really bad right there, but it really just hurts that much in the moment, and then you're walking.
And I mean,
on
if
it.
you're going to
He'll be
rest
hurt
your
for a
guys
week.
anyway,
Yeah.
this
Yeah,
might
yeah.
not be the worst thing for it. It's blessing in disguise.
True.
That's the that's
a
what I
good
was looking
point.
at too.
Domas, though, that was a little bit of a reckless closeout, but, it
Definitely
happens.
like-
It,
happens,
wasn't on
like-
purpose.
And that's what I was gonna say. I don't like the hate going towards
Yeah.
Domas with this.
It's
like,
Boston.
It's happened to
Boston
him.
sports
Yeah,
fans.
Boston sports fans.
True.
Yeah, he was closing
He
out.
gets
That's what
beat
happened to
up.
him twice.
Yeah.
Twice in the
Yeah.
past month.
And if
So,
anyone can say that they get beat up, it's Domas.
He's playing with the
Domas
busted eye right
stitches in his
now, a
eye.
screwed up ankle.
Yeah.
He keeps falling down, and it scares me every time because I'm
Every
like, he's
time.
not really getting hit, and I'm like, oh, it's cooked.
Yeah.
His ankle's cooked.
Yeah, well, we arguably played the finals preview back-to-back nights. So
Yeah.
NBA did us dirty with that back-to-back. But, Tatum, even when he got hurt on that, he made the shot.
Dude, they keep
made
fouling
the
3-point
shot.
shooters, and they make it every time.
Every time. Last night, I remember watching, Markelle was in the game. I don't know why this just came to mind, but we just don't close out. That's what coaches teach you.
It's lazy, bro.
And when someone sprays out for the corner 3, you're supposed to, run at them and have your hands up and shuffle your feet and close out. Don't leave your feet. All these guys on the Kings
Markelle
leave their
jumps
feet.
every
Markelle
time.
jumps every time. Malik jumps every time.
Keon got got.
Yeah, a little pump fake. They're going to be jumping, and then it's a wide open 3. Or
Yeah.
it's a foul. Or it's an and one.
It's like, do you not practice against
Close
DeMar
out.
DeRozan?
Coach Nobis would be pissed.
Don't fall for the pump, bro. He would.
He would. That was the main thing he taught us was that you need to close out. You don't jump out to 3-point
Yeah.
shooters. You shuffle your feet. You have your weight on your backside, so if they drive, you can still stay with them. It's just,
Yeah, and
I don't
that's-
know what's going on.
That's just giving high school basketball
It's high
players
school.
open threes. What do you think you're gonna do if you give an NBA player an open three?
Yeah.
Right? They're gonna make it.
They're going to knock it down.
We're gonna
40%
lose.
of the time,
We're gonna lose
50% of the time.
Tyler as a host, and he's gonna go be a
I
coach
know.
for the Kings.
Hey, I'm with it.
Vivek, bro, he would do something like that.
I'm down. That would be the best movie made.
Bring us on as coaches, bro. Beam City coaching the Beam team. Bro. Come on.
Yeah, well, in this Celtics game, Tatum did dominate, 25 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists. Porzingis also killed us. Peyton Pritchard, man, 22. He's so good. He's so damn good.
He's really good.
He's really good. And Baylor Shireman, man, I told you he was my ICU pick last week, and he killed us 9 points and 7 rebounds off the bench, and he played a ton of minutes. Boston seemed like they were playing their kind of third string guys against us, and it didn't really matter.
I know he hit a couple of those threes and started just yelling, and I was like, "Oh
It's
my
bad.
God, bro, we're letting this happen."
Bro, Jaylen Brown had 9 points.
Jaylen Brown barely played.
29 minutes, 26 minutes. Yeah.
Usually he's around 34. So
Both
like,
of them had 26.
Yeah.
Even though Jason Tatum without an injury.
Yeah.
And then Jaylen Brown only 26 minutes.
and they dominated.
And they dominated us.
Hey, it all started. Oh, the Bulls game is where it all started.
Yeah.
But the Bucks game, you were in the building. Give me a little insight on that.
Bro. Oh my gosh. It was an amazing first half.
Yeah.
It was one of the
Oh.
most beautiful. Well, I went solo, so it was a little solo. I was able to just focus on the game. Watching Giannis get clamped up the whole first half was beautiful. 9 points in the first half for
Yep.
Giannis. And I was like, we're doing it. We're actually going to do this.
And
right
Giannis finished with
here. And then 32 by the end of the game.
hit 35.
35.
35 and 17 for
The third
Giannis.
quarter, he hit, I want to say, like a third of their points, probably.
Maybe more.
Yeah, maybe more. And then the pass that, like, he got, Keegan blocked him. Keegan did a really good job down low with him in the first half.
In the
Pause.
first half.
But then when he blocked him, and then he got his own shot when he was his blocked shot falling down, and then kicked it out behind his back to the corner, and then splash three. Oh man,
That killed us. I feel like the
That-
same thing happened with Herder the game before, where
Yeah.
we got a defensive stop and then it just
Yeah.
went out to Herder and he hit a three.
No, it was.
So, yeah.
it was an amazing game up
Yeah.
until I just started watching the lead just fizzle.
Giannis was crazy to watch.
Giannis. Oh, that's what
Yeah.
I was standing there, and I was like, I'm in the presence of greatness
Yeah,
right now.
one of the best.
I gotta forget about the loss.
Yeah.
This is one of the greatest players to play, and it was really cool to see. Like,
Before we close out the first half, are we winning against Portland tomorrow at home before we go on the road?
Yes.
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 Let's light the beam for once.
Let's light the beam. Come on,
Please.
I
guys.
hope so.
We
Before
need it.
Before we go on the road.
We need it. Then we play Orlando on the road and we go on a long road trip. So we need every win we can get in this tight Western Conference. But we will be back in a couple minutes on Beam City Sports.
Cheers.
And we are back live on the radio, Beam City Sports 96.5 FM. If you did miss the first half of the show, we are going live on YouTube next week. Get in there, leave some comments, tell us what you think about our conversations, and, give us some stuff to talk about. So it should be fun.
Keep it PG-13.
You don't have to.
I mean, we just might not read some of the stuff if it isn't.
Definitely
So.
not gonna read it.
You could
but-
say whatever. Anything helps.
Not whatever. Don't. Not whatever.
Well, any interaction helps, in my
Hey,
opinion.
I'm gonna be on one. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, also, it is our 50th show.
50th
so
show.
50th Beam City Sports show ever. Kind of flown by, but also not. It's been a journey so far, about 6-7 months. Now we're doing 2 shows a week. So, tune in. We'll be back on Saturday at the bar. But second half of the show, how we starting it?
Luke's lock of the week.
Meow.
It's one of my favorite players.
Somebody on the Trailblazers, probably. I'm just kidding.
That'd be a good poll, but nah. No, he used to play with my favorite player, KD, out in Phoenix.
Shout out.
35 points per game last 3 games. 6 rebounds, 7 assists, 1.5 blocks. Suns are on a 4-game win streak, and they are right behind. They're tied in the standings with us, but we have the tiebreaker right now. We're up 2-1, I think, in the series.
And we play them the
play
final
them
game
the
of the year.
Final game of the year.
That's going to matter.
I looked at this. Don't worry. I was just like, all right, we're not playing them in the next week, but in like 10 games or something like that, we play them.
It does suck, though, because we do really have to root against them and the Mavericks especially. And, we'll get into it more, but Anthony Davis is also back. So, Suns and the Mavericks are creeping up on us. But
they're creeping up.
KD's been balling. One of the best players in the league still. Doesn't matter how old he is.
One of the best scorers of all time.
Yeah, just one of the best hoopers, straight hoopers of all time. I love KD because there's pictures of him in the club, practicing his jumper.
Yep.
And that's how you know he loves the game.
And then I feel like...
It's true. He loves the damn game.
I also feel like this playoff push that they're going on right now could definitely help decide their future,
Yeah.
what they do with the team and everything.
It's similar to us.
So
It's like if we make the playoffs, Doug Christie will probably stay.
Yeah.
If we don't, he's going to get fired.
Exactly.
And then same thing with KD. If they make the playoffs somehow, KD might stay.
Exactly.
But if they don't, he's going to be gone.
He gone.
Everything matters in the next couple
Everything
weeks.
matters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But shout out KD. He's
Shout
been
out.
balling. Yeah, good to see our, Hall of Famer,
Hall of Famer.
legend.
Great to witness greatness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Top 3 small forward of all time.
It's not ridiculous to say that.
Not
I might
ridiculous.
say he's better than Larry Bird.
Yeah.
Oh, I
can't-
didn't think you would agree with that.
I can't tell you.
I'm gonna take KD 1v1.
Yeah,
Like best of 7. I'm gonna give it. He wins it in 6.
but just straight up in the NBA. I mean, KD obviously plays in the new era.
Yeah.
But Larry Bird was still nasty. back then.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, it's
would fit in today's era.
It's a small gap
Yeah.
between them, but
Yeah.
KD's just like. I mean, I know Larry Bird was one of the greatest scorers of all time, but KD has eclipsed that. I feel like.
Old heads are mad. We're saying
Look at
KD's better
KD,
than Larry
man.
Bird, but hey, I'm on
Dude,
board
we're keeping
with
it real, man.
We are.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
KD's doing stuff that Larry Bird can't do. Like
That's our
That's
opinion.
true.
Yeah.
Hey, Larry Bird played a whole game left-handed though. That is pretty crazy.
No, yeah. No shade to my dad.
No
Probably.
shade to
My
Larry.
dad's gonna be
Did it
mad
happen?
Same
for
as-
this.
Because I didn't see
My
it.
dad's gonna be mad.
So did it happen? I mean,
It did happen.
It
I
did.
didn't see
Yeah.
it.
It's not like Will.
Not yet. What I mean, I love the trash talking stories from Larry Bird.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty awesome. But if I was to pick a player like in their prime to build around, KD might be one of my top.
Yeah.
To build around.
It's like if you're building a guy in a 2K, if you're building the perfect NBA player, it's going to be Kevin Durant
He can
or
do
LeBron.
anything on the court
Yeah.
whenever he wants.
And he's 7 foot tall.
And he's 7
Even
foot
if he
tall.
wants to say he's 6'9", we all know you're 7 foot, KD.
He just likes that number.
In every picture, in every picture you see, he's taller than Joel Embiid.
He's taller than DeMarcus.
He's taller than DeMarcus, so you're 7 foot, KD.
Yeah.
But you're one of the best. Yeah, well, I like that pick. Luke's lock of the week.
Yes, sir.
Now we can move on to ICU. I'll start with mine. A guy who I saw last year play in the G League. I love seeing guys in the G League when they played against Santa Cruz last year and finally getting some big moments in the NBA. This guy was supposed to go number 1 in the draft when I saw him play in the G League. At that time, he was projected number 1 pick in the draft. Fell down to about 5.
I know who you're talking.
Ron Holland
Yep.
from the Detroit Pistons. Pistons are balling. Ron Holland, he's been a hustle guy all year, but the other game he had 26 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. So shout out to Ron Holland.
Shout
man.
out.
Very athletic, quick, forward out there. He's going to be a big part of the Pistons' future. So
Oh, yeah.
I like his game.
Definitely.
Yeah.
No, I remember you hyping him up a
Yeah.
little while ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you went to go see him a couple of times.
Yeah, and also when I went to see him in the G League and he was projected number 1 pick in the draft, he looked horrible in the G League. He looked
You're
so
telling
me?
unpolished. Yeah, he
Yeah.
looked like one of the worst players on the floor. Turning the ball over, missing free throws, can't hit a shot. And now it looks like he's, put some stuff together.
There you
so
go.
shout out to Ron Holland.
you go.
Show him some love.
I got my boy, used to be our boy here in Sacramento.
Uh-oh.
He's in the G League right now with the Wisconsin Herd. Terrence Davis.
Oh, yeah.
Hey.
44 points
Wow,
with
he's
12 threes
Terrence
the other day.
Davis. I love it.
Man,
could use that right
killed
now.
it.
We could use that.
We could. He was part of the playoff team.
He was a big part of the playoff
Big part
team.
of the playoff
He was
team.
guarding Steph in that game 7.
Yeah.
Bro, if we was on TNT,
For some reason.
If he was on the team last night and the game was on TNT, he would have had 37.
Yeah,
We'd have
I
had
remember
Dude.
they played Brooklyn on TNT, and I was at the game. And Darren Davis had 37
Yeah.
points on TNT. So
Dude.
shout out to TD.
Shout out TD.
Yeah.
I always loved his game. but
Same.
yeah.
And he
I
played
was,
hard.
I was sad when we didn't re-sign him and nobody picked him up in the league.
It
just
threw me off.
Yeah.
I didn't understand it. He had a great year with us.
Mhm.
We should have re-signed him.
And I feel like maybe he was asking for a little bit too much money or something like that.
But then not getting picked up by
But
any
then
team.
nobody picked him up.
It's
Like I was
crazy.
really surprised by that.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that pick. Shout out to TD.
Yeah.
Hopefully he gets back in the real NBA because he deserves it.
I
man.
him up.
He's averaging like 16 right now in the G League, something like that, like 4 assists, a
Yeah.
few rebounds.
He's not trying to swing the rock though. That was
Nah.
not his game. He was trying to
Nah.
get them FGs
He was,
up.
he was shooting from the logo and he
Yeah.
was hitting them.
Hey, I love his game.
Yeah.
We still should have had Davion guard Steph in that game 7 though.
Yeah.
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 Not ridiculous to say
We
that.
don't need to go
Yeah.
back to that.
But yeah,
We're
shout out to
already-
TD.
We're struggling right now. We
Did what the coach asked him to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have some other guys. I have 2 other people for ICU this week. Josh Giddey from the Chicago Bulls, man. Having a hell of a year out there in Chicago. All the doubters, all the haters.
Yeah.
We're not rocking with Josh Giddey. He's balling, man. He's balling.
That trade's not looking too crazy
That trade
right now.
is looking
Yeah,
pretty
he's hooping.
50-50. The Thunder got what they wanted because, Josh Giddey wouldn't be doing this with the Thunder,
Nah.
with all those guys over there. But with the Bulls, he's taken over. The other game against the Lakers, I'm happy that the Bulls are winning and it's not just against the Kings. Because when we lost to the Bulls, I was like, damn, we really lost to the Bulls. And
Looks
now
a lot better
the
now.
Bulls are beating everyone
They're
right
beating
now.
everybody.
They're beating everyone right now.
Yeah.
Kobe White balling, but Josh Giddey's really the big part. And Josh Giddey didn't even play in the game against the Kings.
No.
We're lucky.
Yeah.
Because he would have went
He
off.
would've cooked.
But against the Lakers, when they beat the Lakers the other night, he had 15 points, 10 rebounds, 17 assists, and 8 steals.
Yeah, his deflection.
17 assists?
17 assists.
Dude almost had a quad double?
Yeah.
What?
He was 2 steals away from a quad double.
The Giddler?
The Giddler.
He's him.
He's him. Josh Giddey is him. And then the next game had 26, 8, and 9.
Holy
He's going to
Nice.
get paid this summer.
He's getting paid.
And I hope he stays in
17
Chicago.
assists is
He's probably going to.
crazy.
Oh, he's staying in Chicago.
I think Chicago will love
That's
him.
one thing where I don't think they'll mess up.
Yeah.
Is
Keeping him.
keeping the Giddler.
Yeah, keeping the Giddler. Yeah, the Bulls are winning. One of the most exciting teams in the league right now, and he's a big part of that. Running the show out there. His shot's fallen, too. He's shooting about 40% from 3 over this last couple stretch. So, hey, shout out to Josh
Hey.
I'm going to say they
Should we
won the
sign
trade.
Giddey. Caruso, we saw last night.
Yeah,
what
but
Caruso did.
he's not doing what he did in Chicago, though.
True.
Like-
I think this is a pretty equal trade, in my opinion. I think the
guess-
Thunder got
I mean,
what
I
they
guess
wanted.
The Thunder also
and-
have a lot of things,
And the
so-
Thunder didn't want to have to worry about paying Josh Giddey.
That's
So
true.
that was a big
So
part
yeah,
of it.
it is 50. Yeah,
A
now that
very
I think-
50-50
Now that I think
trade.
about
Yeah.
what they need.
Both
from
teams
Caruso,
won.
yeah.
Both teams won.
Should we sign him?
No.
Caruso?
We
Giddy.
Oh,
no.
we don't have the money.
We cannot-
He's gonna get paid.
And then one thing crazy, Caruso's the OG in OKC. He's
It's
like
like-
28.
No, he's like 31.
Or 31.
Yeah,
Yeah, sorry.
still. But like 31 being the oldest player on the team is crazy.
Yeah.
And they're the best team in the West. So yeah, that's pretty insane. Josh
got-
Giddey balling though.
Josh Giddey is
Yeah.
gone. I got one more.
Okay.
It's that rookie and the rook in Phoenix as well.
Oh.
Ryan Dunn.
Yeah.
Man is explosive. Like he can get up. He reminds me of young Ben McLemore when he was
Hey.
playing.
That's fire.
But now he's balling out there, and he's going to be a big part of Phoenix next year.
Yeah.
Whatever happens.
Hey, when they start him, he plays really
Plays-
well every time.
He went off against us. He had some big threes.
Went off against us. Also,
Yep.
dunked on Giannis the
Dunked
other
on
night.
Giannis,
Dunked
yeah.
on Giannis.
Yeah.
Like actually dunked on Giannis.
Yeah,
so
that was nasty.
yeah, as a rookie, that's a big moment
Yeah.
for sure.
He gets hype.
Yeah.
He's
I love
hype.
his game. He's a defensive-minded player, can hit some shots, is athletic. So, yeah, Phoenix got a good one. Another guy I'm picking, the last guy, is Andrew Wiggins. Had 42 points the other night for Miami.
The Miami finally got a win, right?
Yeah, they got a win. And then, so he had 42 points, and then they played the Warriors a couple nights ago in Jimmy Butler's return to Miami.
No
Smoked
Curry
him.
for that one.
That was actually last night.
No
No
Cur-
Curry. Yeah,
yeah.
Curry's been out, but he will come back soon.
Yeah.
Jimmy returned to Miami. Everyone was, worried about how the Heat fans were going to, give him some love. They gave him some love. They cheered for him in the pregame and all that.
I heard some booze.
Yeah, I heard a little booze, but, more cheers. But Andrew Wiggins' revenge game was really the story of the Warriors game.
Yeah.
He only had 10 points. He had 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, and 3 blocks. All of his blocks were on jumpers. Blocking Moses Moody jumper twice and blocking Guy Santos
Oh, well,
jumper.
that's kind of like the Jake LaRavia game against
Yeah.
Memphis, where he kind of just knew what they were going to do before they did it.
Yeah.
So.
2 steals as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So shout out to A-Dub. Wiggins, I love his game. Miami, don't know what they're doing, where they're going, but hey, Wiggins is a good player, and they got Davion Mitchell
Yeah,
balling. so,
Davion's going off,
Yeah.
man.
They about to go on a
Starting.
run.
no. I don't think they're making the playoffs. If they played the
think
Bulls,
they're then playing still. right
yeah,
now.
no, they're
Yeah.
below the Bulls. If they played the Bulls in the play-in, I'd pick the Bulls.
Yeah,
So
100%.
yeah, Miami's not like that, but hey, Wiggins is a great player still.
Yeah. And then Alec Burks, still balling out, man.
Still having games, man.
Like he was drafted in 2012, I think.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that's pretty insane. 2011, he was drafted to the Jazz.
That's a vet every team wants.
yeah.
He always plays good on playoff teams. The one bad year he had was in Sacramento because we weren't anywhere close to making the playoffs.
We played him like 9 minutes a game.
Yeah. But when he's on a playoff team, we saw in Miami a while ago, saw on the Knicks a while ago too, it makes an impact.
Yeah.
So yeah, shout out. But yeah, around the NBA last night, we can go around. Like I said, the Heat beat the Warriors last night in Jimmy's return. The Cavs beat the Trailblazers, who we're playing tomorrow. So, the Cavs didn't even have Donovan Mitchell. So, hey,
Nope.
maybe that's some hope for us.
Dude, they were looking good because I think the Trailblazers had like the same game we had against the Celtic or no the Thunder. They were down by 25
And then came back.
made it a 2-point game, but just couldn't push it over that hill.
Yeah, for sure. Well, March Madness is heating up. We'll go over some games coming up. So tonight we got BYU, number 6 seed, going against Alabama, the number 2 seed.
Alabama's winning.
BYU's balling.
They are balling.
Jaeger Demon.
Oh wait, no,
Watch out for him.
No, I have BYU going through.
You have
I got
BYU?
BYU going.
I'm always going for that Bama upset.
Yeah. Shout out to Diego.
Shout out to them white boys on BYU.
Yeah,
man.
Jaeger Demon, man. He's going to be a top 10 pick in the draft on BYU. And next year, BYU has the number 1 prospect coming in out of high school. Who they paid him like $5 million, I think.
Damn.
To come in. And yeah, so BYU is going to be a powerhouse for a while.
It is going to be tough. That's a good ass team.
Yeah.
Like they're going to be nice.
No, they're good for sure. But I'm going with Bama, though. I'm going with Bama.
I have BYU going through, but I think Bama's probably going to win it.
Yeah, more realistic. All right, well, Maryland, who hit the game winner, Derek Queen, buzzer beater. That was sick to see
nice.
Against Colorado State. That was one hell of a game. Colorado State hit the 3 to take the lead, and then Derek Queen, who that's the guy who they compared to Jokic. They said if he was a foreign European player, he'd be drafted number 1 overall because of how good he is. But his style of play is just different. It's just not, very common in big men in college basketball. But we saw how good he was in that Colorado State game, and he hit the game winner at the buzzer.
Yeah.
So I'm rocking with Maryland in this game against Florida.
Really?
Yeah. 4-1 matchup. I'm going Maryland, though. I know Florida looks like the best team, but I'm saying upset alert. Maryland.
That's surprising.
Is it?
Yeah. I don't know. Because, Maryland's, they're a good team, but I don't know they can do that back-to-back, especially against Florida. Florida's, been looking
Florida's going to be tough.
They beat UConn, the defending champs.
Yep.
And then they almost won by 30 against Norfolk. unless 16 seed.
Yeah.
But, still.
Yeah, I don't disagree with anything you just said, but I've always liked the Gators, so I got to pick the Gators. Bro.
Respect.
Shout out Tom Petty, Gainesville.
NCAA College Football 12, where I was the Gators all the time.
All right, well, next game, probably the most exciting one tonight. We got Arizona, number 4 seed, going against Duke, the number 1 seed. Cooper Flagg looks nice. Tyrese Proctor, their point guard on Duke, he's missed about 2 shots in their 2 games. Last game, he went 9 of 10 from the field, and 8 of those were threes, I want to say. Tyrese Proctor.
He's looking nice.
Cooking.
Duke's winning it.
He's got a flamethrower.
Yeah, no, they're going.
Caleb Love is, the guy on Arizona who's been balling out. Kind of reminds me of Malik Monk a little bit. Wasn't too familiar with his game. I know he transferred to Arizona, but hey, he's been in college for, I want to say it's his 4th year, maybe even 5th year, but he might make the draft still.
Can do that.
Yeah, you can do that now. Arizona going against Duke, though. I want to say Arizona, but probably going to have to go Duke with this one.
Same thing. Probably, but, I like Duke to win, but I want Arizona to win.
Yeah. Should be fun, though. Arkansas, the real story of this March Madness, the 10 seed, going against Texas Tech, the number 3 seed. Who we going with? I'm going Arkansas
Give
for
me
sure.
the Razorbacks.
Yeah, they're balling.
Yeah, Razorbacks, honestly, they're looking strong. They're the only, kind of mid-major school that's made it this far.
So that's the story of March Madness. You always need one at least, so I'm rocking with them for sure.
Yeah, let's go Razorbacks.
Well,
Come on.
It's been an even bigger story now because everybody's talking about with NIL. They're that'll probably lead to less Cinderella teams, coming out in later rounds of the tournament.
Yeah, for sure.
So, that'll be a big thing the next couple of years. We'll have to see what happens.
Yeah, people are saying NIL's ruining March Madness because people can just get up and leave and go to whoever's paying them the most.
Well, somebody was playing for Michigan yesterday, and he was in the portal, announced he was going into the portal before the game yesterday.
Yeah.
That makes me a little upset. Why do it before the game?
He doesn't play at all.
I guess that makes sense.
He's
mad on the bench.
And
I get it.
He's also trying to he needs to build his future.
Hey,
but you don't have to announce it.
Watch out for Sac State in there next year. Right?
Hey, Mike Bibby signed to Sac State.
Let's go.
And I've heard Mike Bibby got some money. He's going to try and put into Sac State.
Oh, definitely.
And,
I feel like he probably already has bought in there. That's probably where some of the money came
but
for.
I mean,
NIL.
paying for players to come to Sac State.
Well, that's where I think he was probably helped out with the NIL that Sac State already got.
Could we see Sac State in March Madness in the
they're
upcoming
still in
years?
D2, so we got to do good in D2.
I think Vivek's
Could
letting
happen.
them use Golden One for the season.
What?
Sac State's going to play in Golden One. I think he offered it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's for sure yet.
Hey, that'd be pretty sick.
I wanted to talk, though, about John Calipari when he left UK with
Kentucky?
Kentucky.
Yeah.
When he left Kentucky last year, that set off a whole chain of reactions for all the other coaches. Mark Pope went from BYU to Kentucky, and then Kevin Young went from the Suns assistant coach or head coach to BYU, and then all of those teams that got those new head coaches right there are all going to Sweet 16.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, new coaches. That might be the wave.
Assistant coach for the Suns. Though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's an interesting stat. You know, a lot of movement around in college basketball these days, for sure. It's like 1 year you'll be attached to a team, and some guy who's not going to get drafted comes back you think he's going to come back for another year, and then you look up and he's on a different school.
Yeah.
It just makes it harder to even follow, these teams.
Yeah,
It makes
for
it
sure.
tough.
Yeah. Well, some more games on Friday. 6th ranked Ole Miss going against Michigan State. I'm going with Michigan State for sure. I know Ole Miss has looked pretty good, but I'm going with shout out to Draymond. I'm going Michigan State.
Yeah, I do like Ole Miss, but Michigan State.
I'm running
I
with
think
Ole
I'm gonna
Miss.
have to.
Okay.
I'm going with the
I
upset.
want to, but I like Michigan State too. You know,
Yeah.
I just like Michigan
I'm
State.
going with the upset here.
I don't like Michigan though.
You don't like Michigan, but you like Michigan State? Okay.
You know,
that's valid.
Draymond has
I'm for the
2 of the
rivalry.
10 triple doubles in NCAA March Madness history.
2 of the 10?
2 of the 10.
Wait,
Or 2 of the 8. One of the yeah.
That's crazy.
He's nice.
Shout out to Draymond. He also played football for one game.
Yeah. For one game.
For one game. All right, well, Kentucky, number 3. I picked them to lose first round, but, hey, they dominated.
They made it.
And going against number 2, Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Tennessee?
Yeah.
All right.
They're going to be in the Final Four.
Yeah?
Tennessee's going to the Final Four.
Hey, you heard it here first.
Gotta go Kentucky, bro.
Yeah?
Shout out Monk.
Not
Nah,
to Aaron.
Because,
Well, he's not on the team.
Yeah.
Kentucky has been, like, kind of looked down on, like, just, like, entering in the tournament. And I think this is where they kind of fall apart.
Yeah.
Tennessee, like, they a strong team. And I think this is where Kentucky falls apart here.
I'm going with Kentucky, just straight out vibes. That's my reason.
Just the vibes.
Yeah, just vibes. All right, Michigan. Going against number 1, Auburn. This is going to be a banger.
Auburn.
Auburn.
I'm going Michigan. Shout out Jordan Poole. That's a Michigan March Madness legend. Hit a buzzer beater for them.
Shout out the Fab Four.
Yeah, shout out.
Shout out Fab Four.
Shout out them.
Yeah.
All right, well, number 4, Purdue going against number 1, Houston. This is usually where a team like Houston loses. They always are number 1, but they never make it that far. So I'm going Purdue.
Well, I'll take your word for it. Then.
Yeah.
Give me Purdue.
This is usually where Houston loses, no matter what they do throughout the whole year. So I'm going with Purdue.
That one's on Friday, right?
Yeah,
I don't think Purdue's gonna get blown out.
you think?
Yeah, Purdue's
Call 'em
gonna get blown
blowout.
out.
Didn't you pick? Oh, you picked Auburn to go to the Final Four.
My Final Four was St. John's, UCSD, and Duke and Gonzaga. That was my first Final Four.
Okay.
Yeah,
So only Duke is left.
only Duke is left. But right now, I'm saying Tennessee is going Final Four.
Okay. All right. Well, tomorrow we got baseball coming up. So hyped about that.
Uh-oh.
The A's are in Seattle to play the Mariners.
That's gonna be a tough game.
Yeah, but I
Mariners
think
are
we can
looking
win
good.
it. Mariners are good. You know, they got a good catcher, Julio
re-signed him.
Rodriguez as well.
Yeah.
One of the best center fielders in all of baseball,
J.P. Crawford.
if not the best center fielder. And they have the starting pitcher, George Kirby.
Mm-hmm.
He's nasty.
Yeah. He's nice.
But you know we're rocking with the A's, man. I think this is the
course.
year. This is one of them years where we're gonna make a run. We're gonna make the playoffs. It's crazy because usually when I think it's gonna be one of those years, if I'm being honest, I say that before every year. These last couple years, I always am so faithful that the A's are gonna do something. But now I actually believe it because we spend all this money. It seems like we want to win, so I'm on board with it. But the A's going against the Mariners, it's gonna be a good test.
It's gonna be a good game.
Yeah.
It's gonna be good to see the green and gold back on the field.
Yes.
It's gonna be good to see seeing the ball get thrown. Man, I miss baseball.
Yeah,
I
miss it
miss
for
baseball.
sure. But we got Luis Severino on the mound, one of our big offseason pickups. I'm predicting a big game out of him. He's going to go at least 6 strong, and our bullpen is underrated too. I think, Randy brought it up when he came on the show that name 2 guys out of the A's bullpen. I can name their whole bullpen now. That was a month or 2 ago. But yeah, we got some guys in that bullpen that are pretty nasty. So, and Mason Miller's the best closer in all of baseball. That goes a long way. So
we really need JP Sears to step it up.
I think he's going to be really good.
Because last season it was always like he would go in and it was either a blowout or he shut the game out completely. There was no like in between, just like
he's really young too. I see really a big year out of him.
But I don't want to see any more blowouts from him.
Yeah.
Because it was every other game that he went in and pitched. It was like a 10-run game from him.
Yeah, for sure. But
Who's pitching tomorrow for the Mariners?
George Kirby.
Yeah.
Opening day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, number one. But it's interesting to see, like all the MLB writers and all these baseball writers, the A's are everyone's surprise pick.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, if they're on board with it, I'm down. But usually the A's get no love, and I'm still saying this is going to be a surprise Moneyball type of year. But it seems like everyone's on board with it this year.
I feel like it's just the end of the season last year.
Yeah.
They ended off so hot.
They did.
Like they started to come together as a team. Lawrence Butler looking hot.
Is him.
Oh my God. Brent Rooker too. Brent Rooker is going to be. We're going to have 2 All-Stars next year.
And when you
Maybe three.
When you lock guys in like that, I think the excitement only grows for
sure.
for A's fans. Like you got the core of your team set, and it's just that surprise run. Maybe make a couple key acquisitions at the deadline, and then try to make a run at the playoffs. So.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, Zach Geloff, our star second baseman who had 20 homers last year, is out. Broke his right wrist. So he'll be out for a little bit. But we did call up one of our top prospects, Max Muncy. Not the guy on the Dodgers.
Yeah, I know.
Same name.
The other Max Muncy.
But yeah, he's a middle infielder. He's going to play second. I hope he starts tomorrow at second base because I think he's going to be a stud.
He's on the opening day roster.
He's on the opening day roster.
Pretty sure their birthday is like
the same. Yeah, they have the same birthday.
Yeah.
Both drafted by the A's.
Both
same
drafted by
birthday,
the
same
A's.
name.
We love our Max
crazy.
Muncies, man. But
like
I think
some
he's going to be a
LeBron Steph
stud.
stuff.
It is. So the A's, and also the shortstop Jacob Wilson. I have a lot of hope in Jacob Wilson. He's still super young, but in spring training he's been hitting the ball great.
Yeah.
So
I think that's kind of what good teams have been made up over the last couple years. Is like I said, lock in the Butlers, the Rookers, and then they got. Langoliers for a couple more years. I think he's gonna be solid until they get some better options catching there. But
He's
like I said,
he's like a top catcher in the league.
Yeah, top 10 catcher in the league for sure. He ended the year really good. But yeah, I think having those guys locked in, and then the young like Max Muncy, the Jacob Wilson, some of the young pitching, Mason Miller, that's just what kind of good teams have been made up of, in my opinion, over the last couple of years.
And we also have some vets in the outfield like Seth Brown, who's been in with the A's for so long, who I think, he can still have some pop in that left-handed bat. And Miguel Andujar against lefties, great right-handed hitter, hit about 300 last year, so watch out for him. But the Giants, give us a little preview tomorrow. Who you got on the mound? Who you guys playing? How you feeling about opening day in First San Fran?
Opening day in Cincinnati tomorrow. I think it's early in the morning here, 1 p.m. over there. I'm not sure. I'll have to look at the times for sure. But it's Webb versus Hunter Green, and the lineup will probably look like what it's been the last couple of exhibition games. And they've been playing the starters a lot just to get them ready for the last couple games. And a couple of they optioned Harrison to AAA. Roop is going to be the 5th starter, and then Birdsong's going to come out of the bullpen. They kept Lou Trevino, Bob Melvin's guy.
Dude, they're getting all Bo Mel's guys.
They kept
all Bo Mel's guys.
Kept him. He's going to be in the bullpen. They optioned David VR because it was his last option year. They pretty much had to. And so they made room for him. And then they also sent Wisely and Grant McCray back to the AAA. So,
dude, Grant McCray's going to be so good.
Looks like it's going to be Christian Koss. They signed him like he's actually going to be on the opening day roster. He had a really good spring. He's going to be backup shortstop, and then I think the other utility infielder is going to be Schmidt.
Yeah.
And then
that's your boy.
Matos and Yastrzemski will platoon in, right? Yastrzemski's going to start tomorrow. He's obviously going to get the opening day start no matter what. He's been there the last couple of years. He's the vet. So, but I think throughout the year, Matos could grab that, everyday starter from him, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I think Yaz is a really good 4th outfielder on a lot of good teams. So I also have a lot of optimism. Like I said, Logan Webb going tomorrow. He'll probably go 7-8. I think Bob Melvin let him go 8 last year with like almost 100 pitches on opening day. So he's got a lot of confidence in the guy, and so do a lot of Giants fans. That's why he's starting his 4th opening day in a row. And then after that, we'll see what it looks like. I think it'll probably be Robbie Ray tomorrow, and then or the next day. I think they have it's a weird day off. They play Thursday, and then they don't play again until Saturday, and then finish Saturday, Sunday. So.
Interesting. Well, we're about to close out on Beam City Sports. On the radio, for the last time for a while, but we will be back next week live on YouTube every week, of course, and then we'll also be at the bar. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, Beam City Sports. It's been fun.
Watch the live.
Come
Thank you
watch
very
the live
much.
show.
Come watch the live show, please.
Yeah,
And if you're old enough, come to Players and watch the live show when we have more details.
facts. Go subscribe.
Cheers.